Hello everyone, thank you for checking out today's video. In this one, I'm going to be showing you guys how to script a custom action on Flow Designer on ServiceNow. Now here is ServiceNow's Flow Designer Actions documentation, and I'll just read part of this. An action is a reusable operation that enables process analysts to automate Now Platform features without having to write code. For example, the create record action. So ServiceNow has quite a few out-of-the-box actions that you can use to do different things like create records, create tasks, delete attachments, copy attachments, etc. So there are quite a few that you can use, and very rarely will you have to create a custom action. But I had a use case come into work where it made sense for me to have to create one. So let's go ahead and do that now. So the use case that came into work is my supervisor had a series of changes with different servers where he needed to place each one of these servers into a local approval mode every day for the duration of his project, which was going to be, I think, a few months. Essentially what he wanted me to do is he wanted me to create a change task every single day on these different changes, Monday to Friday, and assign it to the infrastructure team so that they could place the server in local approval mode. This didn't seem very efficient, so the infrastructure team actually instead was able to provide them with tokens. So rather than creating a new change task every single day, we just went ahead and created one beginning of the week, and they added all the tokens to it. But hopefully you guys could find a use case where it would make sense to be able to check to see if it's a weekday, and then you could do something cool with that. So if you come over to your triggers on your flows, you have some different options here for the scheduled triggers. You have daily, weekly, monthly, run once, or repeat. Now, if you do daily, at least as far as I could tell, there isn't an out-of-the-box way to check to see if it's a weekday or not. You could probably do a scheduled job outside of Flow Designer and do everything that way, but I was like, let's do everything in Flow Designer because that's kind of where ServiceNow is pushing all of their backend work. So, and I know a lot of people really like working with Flow Designer. So if you come over to, well, let's go ahead and create our action. So if you guys have never created an action before, if you go to Workflow Studio, you'll have these different options here. And if you select action, come over here to new, we'll go ahead and be brought to a screen that looks like this. And you could enter your input variables. We don't have those in this video today, so I won't cover this. I will create another video where we do cover input variables, and we'll have another use case for that. So in this one, we're just doing script steps and outputs. So within our script, we have some, it's pretty straightforward if you guys look at my comments, but first thing that we're doing is we're declaring a variable called now, and we're getting the current date and time from glide date time, and then we're getting the day of the week. So 1 equals Monday and 7 equals Sunday. So what we're doing here is we're doing day of week. So now, so our now dot, and then the method get day of the week local time. So with that, then we're going to declare a new value or a variable called is weekday, and that's going to be true or false. So what it's checking is it's checking to see if the day of the week is greater than or equal to 1, and the day of the week is less than or equal to 5. So Monday to Friday. And if it's Monday to Friday, then what we're going to do is that variable right here is weekday, is passing that over, that result that it's getting over to outputs.answer. Now outputs, sorry, phone's going off. Outputs.answer is it's the output, and then we do dot, and then we do answer. So that's the variable that we're going to be passing over to the outputs over here off to the left. So outputs.answer is equal to is weekday. So this is either going to be true or false. Now, if we come down here to the bottom, we have to go ahead and create that output variable. And again, like I just mentioned, it's outputs and then dot and then the name of the variable that we want to use. So right now we're just going to call it answer. And there wasn't a Boolean option here for me. There wasn't a Boolean array, but I don't know. For some reason on my work instance, we had a Boolean string, but didn't have that here, but it doesn't matter. We just went ahead and selected string because it's just going to pass over the word true or false. And then that'll just be what you look for when you get to your Flow Designer. So after you pass in your answer, or at least what I called mine, answer, then we need to go ahead and head over to outputs. And then for this, I just called this, my output is weekday. And then again, declared it as a string because it's just going to be the word true or false. And then from there, we need to pass over the value. So the value of this is going to be coming from our script step, from this variable down here, which is being set right here. And then you just pass that over right here off to the right. So you see under script step, there's the answer variable that we created. And then you just drag over that data cell right here. Then after you're done with all of that, you want to save and publish. And then you can use that action on your Flow Designer. So again, go back over to Workflow Studio, go to Flows. And it's going to be slow, but eventually once you get your flow, you can go ahead and select flow, get your new flow created. And you guys saw a few minutes ago, I was showing you guys the trigger that I'm using is daily. So this script will run every single day at noon. And what it's going to do, it's the first thing that it's going to do, it's going to check our action that we created. Check if weekday. So if you guys click on this little plus and you go to actions and you type in the name of your custom action that you created. So ours is just called check if weekday. Mine's showing up because I used it recently, but in case yours, you don't see it there, you may need to want to click on one of these different options here. And usually just click on global, it'll show everything. That'll show if your custom action wasn't showing up prior to this, you just click on global. You should see it here. After you select it, you want to make sure as you look off to the right that you do have your is weekday output that we created, because you're going to need that in a moment. If you are able to check that and you see that it's there, the next thing that you want to do is you want to go ahead and create some flow logic. So you want to create a condition, an if condition, and then you want to check to see if your weekday is set to true, because if it's set to true, that means it falls within Monday to Friday. And again, this is just a string. So if it was a true Boolean, we would just be able to select true or false. But again, it's just passing over the word true or false. So if it is the word true, which means it falls on a weekday, then we're just going to create a incident record because we just want to make sure that it's working. So it's just a random incident record that says, yay, it's a weekday. Then we end the flow. And if not, then it does nothing. So let's test it. Let's click on test here, run test. And then once we click on it, this is our flow execution. So this is very helpful for debugging. So if you click on these different steps, it shows the different values that are running through. So you can see check if weekday. So for us, we can see that it's true. Now, if you're getting a false here, you probably want to go back and check your code, or maybe check the date. Make sure you're not on the weekend. So maybe you want to check to see if it is a weekend. And if that's the case, you need to go ahead and adjust your script. But we were able to see that it is a weekday. So today is Thursday. And right here, we're checking to see if weekday is true. We were looking for true. True it is. So because it's true, went ahead and created that record. Now, I think I had one from earlier when I tested this prior to the video. Just didn't want it to be broken when I show you guys. But if we go over to open, we should have two of them. And yes, we do. So we have one from a few minutes ago, because right now it is 9:24. So yeah, this was posted about a minute ago. And there is our task that we just created. But again, this is, I don't know why you'd want to, you could just do like a scheduled template, I guess, instead. I'm sure there's much better ways to just create incidents at a regular cadence if you needed to. You probably wouldn't want to do it with a flow. There's a lot of other ways to do it. Like I said, the scheduled templates. But in case you find a use case where you want to check to see if it's a weekday or a weekend, then you guys have the ability to do that now with your custom action, that you can go crazy. So then you can put whatever you want, either on those weekdays or on those weekends. All right, guys, if you found this video helpful, please consider giving this video a like. Please also consider subscribing to the channel. I'll catch you on the next one very soon.